tough homework, tough assignment. How am I going to get somebody in the door on Friday? I heard community investment. I heard door knocking. I heard social media and email marketing, creating an event. These are all great things. Not many of them are going to make the register ring in a short period of time. And I bring this example up to demonstrate that similarly, you can't look at marketing as a home run, a Hail Mary, a three-pointer from the half court. It's doing the everyday diligence in order to drive traffic, to create those impressions. It is door knocking with a appropriate one-sheeter. It is social media reinforcing the key attributes of your business. It is community sponsorship. It is hosting an event. It's all of these things. And I'm a little outside of remembering when it used to be just a business card, but it's now, then it was a business card and a brochure. Then it was a business card, a brochure, and a website, and 5 social media channels, and video production, and content writing. The ask for small business owners just keeps getting more and more, and that obviously takes resources, both time and financial investment. So I bring up that example again to share that there are no silver bullets. You can't lose weight without going to the gym, right? It's going to take work. It's going to take investment of time and resources. And what I'm going to lay out here moving forward is a practical approach with both the software, the tactics, and what we measure in order to see that your marketing activities are working. There is no, I saw an ad, I track to a register, I get credit to this. There's causation and there's correlation towards both those things, but Google runs all of our lives on technology. They still don't have point A to point B tracking across devices, across media to the register and drawing that line for the dollar. So what we have to do is we have to look at what are we trying to accomplish and what is the best way to do that. And if we're not tracking those investment activities, if we're not monitoring which one is most successful and most efficient, then we're just lighting money on fire, throwing it into the air, whatever analogy you want to present there. So today's presentation, we're going to focus on, again, the philosophy of frequency, reach, duration, and measurement. If any of you have taken a Marketing 101 class, it's the basics. We're going to start with strategy, and then we're going to talk about the technology. So when I say strategy, what are the things that we can look to impact with marketing? Are you getting enough visitors to your website? Are your social media channels driving engagement? Are you seeing increased growth over time? Are you tracking the referral traffic from social media, from those backlinks to your website? Are they the right pages? Are people staying on those pages that drive brand, product, or service long enough to make an impact? And we'll talk about the different pathways and steps that, again, we recommend. This is a framework for all of our customers that we start with, and we'll have a strategy mapping document that will allow you to do the same thing, and that'll actually be something that gets sent to you after this presentation so that you guys can document a strategy, and then we can talk about it next week. When we talk about software, I'm not thinking any of you are coders. We're all small business owners. We all can self-teach ourselves these things. I like to say, with the digital marketing side of things, we're a convenience service, right? You can watch 8 hours of video and get certified on Google. You can join a WordPress forum and become a developer of a website. You can become a media professional with Cision, which is the global leading PR distribution tool. And then you can track all these things again. So we're going to make recommendations primarily through WordPress. It is the #1 content management system in the world. A plugin called Yoast SEO will help track some of the search engine optimization elements and keywords we're going to reference consistently throughout. And why keywords are so important when it comes to digital marketing is if you think about however many times a day you go to Google, you pull up a query, and those terms are what you want to find. In your head it means something, to Google it means something, and to your business it means something, and you want to be able to research those keywords and understand the amount of monthly search volume for your geography and the type of investment that it may take to pay to place ads on those things. You can use that information to craft your content strategy, and everything that's done organically can be done with paid. But again, time and resources, it's going to take more time if you're spending less resources. So there's always a connection to those two things. You'll hear that again throughout the presentation. Google Analytics. How are you going to measure these things? I talked a lot about on-page engagement. I talked about the duration on page. I talked about new versus returning visitors. Google Analytics 4, which is Google's latest rolled out product that as of July 1st of 2023, they phased out their old product, Universal Analytics, and they phased in Google Analytics 4. If you or your web host provider did not take action, you may not be getting information if you had Universal Analytics installed and did not update to Google Analytics 4. Social media. We look at social media as an amplification tool as well as a community development tool. You can foster and curate the most engaged audience on social media by creating your own group, by sharing frequently asked questions that your customers may ask of time. And again, which one do you want to participate in? I say all of them. Start with all of them, create the same content, and then see where you're getting engagement. Make sure you're measuring that information, and then focus your attention. You have online digital focus group, doesn't cost you anything. Organic social media allows you that power. I'm going to talk a lot about blogging and press releases and creating yourself as an authority in the space that you work in. Incision is the great way to do that. As you create content, whether it's an event release, whether it's a notification of your sponsorship, whether it's participation in the local Little League, you can write a 400 to 600 word press release, distribute that to a list of local media, and boom, you're on 35 websites with 35 backlinks. Those are all valuable tools, not only for the community investment that we talk about, going door to door, sponsoring local, but nationally and globally, that's going to help your search engine optimization rank, and those things are trackable as well. How are they ranked, or how are they trackable? That's where SEMrush comes in. SEMrush is an SEO tool. Ahref, Moz, Blue Frog, there's a number of them. We use SEMrush, but that can give you organic traffic to your website. It can give you social and referral traffic if you connect your Google Analytics property, and then it gives you all the backlinking information in those domains. So a backlink from the Wall Street Journal versus a backlink from your community newspaper is going to have a different weight to it, and that's called domain authority, and that's something that's measured as well. So,
can you explain what a backlink is?
Absolutely. So a backlink for SEO purposes is when there is a link on another website back to your website. So your chamber profile is a backlink. If you haven't taken the time to fill out your chamber profile, I highly recommend you do so. If you're struggling with what to write, we'll cover that through our project strategy mapping process. You're going to want to have a short-term and a long-term description for your business. Oftentimes it's pulled right from your About Us page. So as you start a Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, chamber, any other profile, you want to have that definition be consistent. Again, for search engine optimization purposes, that's called name, address, and phone consistency. It's a +1 versus a question mark for Google's subjective crawler to say, yeah, I found this is company ABC doing XYZ here. It lines up with company ABC doing XYZ here. That's the +1 I'm talking about online. So again, there's subjectivity and objectivity. We're talking about a computer reading the back end of your website. That's going to be black and white. You can't fudge that. E-notice. We mentioned managing your database and getting an email out. Email marketing is continually ranked as one of the least expensive marketing activities you can do. If you're not collecting name, address, phone, and email data from your clients and prospects, you're burning money away. That is the most important tool to be able to communicate with your future customers, your current customers, and your past customers. And it's the least expensive tool for marketing across all other channels. So again, starting with strategy, I've listed a number of different things we can do, increase social traffic, increase web traffic, increase backlinks and referrals. The more specific you can be in this, what you want to accomplish, the better. And what I'll say is we all want increased sales, whatever that looks like. Every one of us attending this presentation want increased sales. But if you can say, I want increased sales of pants, you're a clothing retailer. Okay, now we're getting specific. Well, I want increased sales of ladies' pants, ladies' red capri pants with buttons. The more specific you can get, the more accurate we can drive targeted revenue. Again, general is good, specific is better. I don't mean to say if you don't have that level of granularity in your data that you can't be successful here, but a lot of external factors play into that specificity, geography being primary. If you're a local retailer, you have an opportunity that a JCPenney operating out of Texas isn't going to have. Unfortunately, JCPenney has national advertising dollars, and us as small business owners have difficulty competing with that, but there are ways, there are approaches. Important thing to note here as we talk strategy and particularly search engine optimization and the measurability. Open source means free and open to everyone. If you have a public website that's online, we can pull an SEO audit for you, and that can give you a lot of this information. It can let you know if you have meta descriptions and page titles on your pages. It can let you know if your content is aligned with those page titles. It can let you know if your images are titled appropriately as well. And then it counts backlinks, how long your domain is registered for. It's a whole Pandora's box of data that if you're unaware of exists, your competitors can pull that. They know where to spend. So now I can pull information from my competitor and understand they're not spending in SEO, and I can double my investment in local as a competitive tactic. So that type of data, when we're talking about time and resources primarily being money, is underutilized. I'll leave it there. What would we have to know? What type of questions do we answer with this project strategy map? And I will share, this is kind of the free secret sauce, keywords. We talk about keywords, and this can be a list from the top of your head, something you've heard from customers, something that you believe you want to be found for when someone Google searches, and then we can take that list and we can verify it with data. Google has a keyword tool planner. I'll be happy to run you through how do we execute that, but for today's presentation, we're just going to kind of glance over at keywords, and you can also do competitive analysis for this. Geography. Again, hyper important. We talk about Google Maps. We talk about the local search returns. Geography is going to play a huge component of your strategy, whether you're local, regional, national, or global. And then getting down into the zip code specific nature of where you want to operate with tools like geofencing. We can target paid advertising with zip codes. Obviously, we get into direct mail. We talk about every door direct mail and other opportunities. All of this is part of a campaign that you'll want to build. You won't want to just do one of these and cross your fingers. We talked about short and long form business description. Again, this could be word for word from your About Us page. It could be tailored, but you want to have something that you can copy and paste as you're filling out your chamber profile, as you're starting new social media, as you're building out any other relationships with organizations that could potentially get you a backlink. That name, address, and phone consistency is vitally important. So we kind of split these two pages here. Products and services offered. Again, financial services, hardware, legal advising. We may not want to list our entire catalog or our entire services page, but for this exercise, what do we want to grow in? Again, the more specific, the better. If I want to focus on year-end 401k or IRA retirement plans or insurance packages, or if I want to talk about the seasonal necessities of building French drains during spring and the rain season, that's kind of what we want to focus on here. Local competition. Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, and digital is no different. When we talk about pulling competitive reports, there's a lot of maybe 8 out of 10 is going to be what you need to do to rank. And you're going to have to mimic that of your competitors. When you get to the first page, top of the second page, that's where you're really going to start to do some magic and talking about the key attributes that your business provides that no other does. But again, getting to that point is going to be, making sure that you've done the foundational tactics that help with SEO. Goals and goal measurement. Again, I've listed a number of goals that we can talk about: increase web traffic, increase social, increase backlink profile, development of a media distribution portal internally to your business. All of these things can be done with digital through this framework. And then how are we going to measure? Is it going to be Google Analytics? Is it going to be Hootsuite, which is a tool I'll recommend later for aggregate social posting? Is it just going to be our weekly, monthly, or quarterly electronic newsletter that we get data from? The key is not to do any marketing activities without a data point and a goal tied to it. Otherwise, you're at the whim of whether you had lunch or not, on whether or not you feel that it went well or it didn't go well. You really want to use that data so that you can make more informed decisions, and as you spend in marketing, you spend more effectively, and hopefully it's driving better business outcomes. Social bookmarking sites, again, there's Pinterest, there's TikTok, there's Truth, there's Twitter, there's Facebook, there's LinkedIn. There's more than I can count on both hands and toes. Which ones are you going to participate in and why? That could be demographic based. How old is my customer? Where are they? Are they this or that? You'll want to draw a client persona, and that again speaks of, as we talked about the Friday exercise, how do we get someone in the door on Friday to make it? What does that person look like? And you start to draw. They drove in a Mercedes. They have 2 kids. They went to a Big Ten school. They watch sports on Sunday. They go to church. They're contributed to their community as well. The more you can document what that person looks like, it's going to help you as you start to make creative decisions down the road. That article has all the points, but it's not targeted towards my user. That graphic, that looks great if they were a kindergarten art teacher, but we're looking for financial professionals with resources to invest. That's going to make all those creative decisions fall in line and be an easier discussion down the road. Editorial calendar. Everybody's got seasonality to their business, even if it's consistency, right? So you're going to have peaks, you're going to have valleys, or you're going to have a flat line, and you're going to need to come up with things to say. When we're talking about editorial calendar, we want to know what you're going to say, why, and what you hope the result is from that. That could be, product, service attributes, that could be branding, or that could be event or campaign specific. But why not map that out so you know what's coming in the next quarter at a minimum? Then editorial schedule. How are we going to distribute that? Where's it going to go? Which media sources are we going to use? The last piece here is tied to user experience. If we're doing all this for a website that hasn't been updated or hasn't been navigated with the intent of driving user behavior, then we're going to fall short. We really want to make sure we understand why somebody is on our website, what their next action is taking, and then once they take that next action or right away, what's the conversion action we're looking for. We'll talk about conversion actions down the road as well, and that's going to be phone call, schedule, contact form, or ultimately purchase. And all of those things can be tracked. All right, so we talked about increasing web traffic, and this screenshot is an actual universal analytics screenshot with a year-over-year comparison, just to give you kind of a baseline of what information you can start to expect from Google Analytics. And this has your users, how many of those were new, and this actually with the year-over-year comparison has the growth percentage or decrease, number of sessions per user, page views, pages per session, average session duration, and bounce rate. Bounce rate is when somebody leaves your website without taking an additional action. You missed. They landed on your website, you didn't provide any information, and they left. You want that to be as low as possible. Average session duration. If somebody's on your page for 20 seconds versus 2 minutes, you can assume the person that was on your site for 2 minutes is getting more value, and you're providing an answer to the query that brought them there. Pages per session, another engagement metric. How many pages are they navigating through, and then what's the action they take down the road? You can increase web traffic in a lot of ways. Consistent posting on social media, right? You can check this out on our website, link in our bio. Here's a link directly to an article that we wrote. Here's a product campaign. Here's a promotion. Here's an upcoming event. You want to share information that your users can engage in, and that would give you a referral count for Facebook or for whatever social media you're using for that. So now you start to know which content is driving the most engagement. Regular content creation, we talked about the editorial calendar, the blog articles, the videos. All of these things are what drives engagement. If you start to think of yourself as a consumer and how you engage with media, the never-ending media distributor that's in our hands. We're all consuming constantly. What's driving your engagement? What's keeping you in front of the phone? And how do I leverage that against or for the benefit of my client? Again, media distribution, there's citations and there's backlinks. We talked about backlinks earlier. A citation is anytime your business name is mentioned, just in print. So citations are counted as well. And you can imagine a press release picked up by 35 national small newspapers, what that does to your citation count. And then as we look back, Google's latest acronym and one of the things that defines their search optimization tactics is called EAT. So it's experience, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. The best way to do EAT, publish content, participate in speaking opportunities, attending community sponsorship and writing articles about that. You have to get the word out there. You have to be the one amplifying your voice in a very crowded media sector. Then we cover the rest. Direct mail. We're a huge component of integrated marketing campaigns or omni-channel campaigns. We've got a schedule that we'll show later that can talk about incorporating some of those things. But if you send a direct mail piece, what's measurable? Do you have a coupon code? Do you have a QR? Are you trying to see if they land on your web page? Do you want them to come in and bring the flyer? Like, as long as you create that measurability, we're happy if it's print or digital. So again, my little take your medicine piece here is there's no way to increase your social media audience without constant engagement. And maybe you want to bring in a social media intern. Maybe you want to hire a professional. Maybe you want to post yourself and be the personality and face. But that doesn't mean that'll be an engaged audience. That doesn't mean those people will get back to your website. So be wary of how you're spending time on social media. If you don't have a business goal tied to it, you're trying to go viral or be a celebrity. And as small business owners, we took the alternate path there. So you want to provide content of value, right? So if that's a shared graphic or meme that provides a chuckle, if that's an infographic or sales promotional piece that's been distributed, if that's the benefits of bringing in legal counsel on personal injury activities, then that's what it is. But through social media and aggregate tools like Hootsuite, which I'll mention more in the software, you can schedule things in advance. So you can have your whole month scheduled with a couple hours of investment, and it's literally the click of a button for Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, TikTok, Google Business. They don't have all of them integrated, but more than enough to start to get a data point and begin testing and focus grouping that information. If you are a business owner that thrives off your own, the owner's or your own personality, go live, get vertical. We talk about TikTok, Instagram stories, Facebook stories, and YouTube shorts. The opportunities there, meaning time invested versus return on audience, is being prioritized by all of those social media. Go live regularly if that fits your personality and brand. Again, posting on social media is free. Producing social media content, managing social media content, measuring social media is not free. So if that's you, if you're the personality, if you're comfortable behind it, next time you're at your sponsored event and you have the banner next to you, you got a backdrop. Give it 30 seconds and go live. And it's awkward and it's uncomfortable, and that's what gets engagement. I wish there was another way around it, but as one who hates hearing his own voice on audio, it's very tough, but we do it too. And those posts have much higher engagement than product advocacy, brand or service advocacy. People want to see you, especially local. They want to hear what you think. They want to hear why you're different. And that's a huge differentiator as an early adopter, right? None of us are teenagers as digital natives coming out of school, and that's our go-to. It's awkward for us, and that authenticity can't be reproduced. And solve problems for people. You know, it's that's what people, you know, what's in it for them? Why are they going to engage in your content? Because you answer a query for them. That could be a how-to video. It could be advocating for a particular activity like I'm doing now. It could be recommending advance of deadlines for investing in certain mediums. And then it's not just a bullhorn in a corner with you screaming. you also have to engage in other people's content on social. It's free, like I said, time and resources. It's going to take time. So if you have resources, invest in a strategy. If you have time, learn it quick. It's a differentiator. This next piece, I think, is the crux of it all. We all want to see results from anything that we're spending time and resources on. How do we measure those results? Conversions, right? So a conversion can be somebody fills out a contact form. It can be somebody calls your business. It can be somebody schedules, or it can be they download a white paper on your website, right? There's a journey, and we'll cover marketing funnels both in a base format and then a more advanced format later in the presentation. But all of these things are trackable in terms of, did they add to cart and leave? Did they begin checkout? Did they successfully purchase? Did they file download? Especially for some of the financial services, some of the stuff that you may not get an opportunity until you establish a relationship, to be able to have, what makes you eligible for investing in gold bullion as part of your IRA, or investing in equities or a mutual fund as part of your IRA. That type of documentation is always something that somebody can pick up. And again, depending upon the age demographic of your audience, it may make more sense to do that than a video, and understanding those decisions. But marketing success doesn't always look like sales. Otherwise, we'd be called sales, right? So sales is not marketing. Marketing is not sales. What we can do is we can make the phone ring. We can try and pre-qualify the person who's calling, and we can hand it over to sales. So whether sales is you as an individual, whether it's a customer service rep on the store floor, or whether it's a one-on-one appointment with the owner, we can track progression to that point. And that, again, is a lot of people think that dollars going out in marketing equate to dollars going in, and that's something that we build for. But realistically, as a small business owner, my 200 followers is not going to ignite a sales rush in a medium where people are spending tens of thousands of dollars a month to get those impressions. So setting realistic goals in terms of your marketing effort, and appropriate with the volume of traffic that you have and the volume of traffic that you can acquire is vitally important on the front end. All right, so a lot of the things I'm advocating for today require an outside vendor, or self-teaching, or time, or resources. So you definitely are going to have to get out of your comfort zone. It's not just a business card. It's not just a brochure. It's not just a website. It's all of those things and then some, potentially becoming a social media celebrity, potentially investing in paid opportunity. Once you find a message that works, you want to augment that message through paid distribution. It's potentially getting involved in new channels. Maybe you create an audio commercial on Spotify or SoundCloud. Maybe you're putting a video out on YouTube that's getting significant, if not higher, viewership than traditional TV. It's really looking at building a marketing platform to be able to distribute communications, again, brand, product, or service for your organization. So I like to say marketing hasn't changed that much, right? Frequency, reach, and duration. We talked about the measurement tools have changed dramatically, and the technology incorporated is substantial. But as we look, marketing, again, used to hand off to sales fairly early in this process. We talk about awareness, interest, evaluation, and close, but we're basically mapping those steps out. Each one of these steps could be a separate piece of content or a separate article, where you have a couple tied to the different levels. Because they're all measurable, you know that 80 people read your short form article. You know that 50 people engaged in your video. You know that 30 people got retargeted and clicked on the ad. And then 20 people landed on your shopping cart, 15 of them left, and 5 bought. So that's what they're talking about in terms of the funnel concept. I hate the jargon, but ad sequencing, ad funneling, it's how things are done. And if you think it's not, speak into your device, search for something in your device, and within a half hour you'll have ads across your your web navigation for that actual product. Okay, so the software piece of this, again, I am not a developer. Very few of the projects that we are working on require specific development. Development would be if we're having databases talk to each other, if we're having actions needed to progress through technology. But the web builder environment now, again, we use WordPress. There's Joomla, there's Squarespace, there's Wix, there's Weebly. You can get a website tomorrow. There's GoDaddy Builder. We don't use any of those, and there's various reasons why. We recommend WordPress, again, the #1 adopted CMS, which is content management system. It's got a robust plugin environment, fairly safe, fairly secure. You still have to do monthly updates for the plugins as well as the software, but even finding support for one of these sites is going to be easier because there's such a large audience of people participating. And again, plugins can be your contact form, plugins can be your video, your social connectivity. Yoast SEO is also a plugin. They have a free tool as well as a pay-to-play model, but this will help change any of your page titles, meta descriptions, alt image tags, etc. That is the back-end framework of how your site needs to be built so that Google can identify, because it's not seeing the site, it's seeing the text behind the site. So you want to make sure that's representative of what you do. Google Analytics, we talked about. Again, this is a transition that's fairly new. Before engaging with a freelance or project-based vendor, make sure they know what they're talking about, because you can always do more damage than you can good if you engage with the wrong vendor. Social media, we talked about Hootsuite. Hootsuite, there's Sprout Social, there's Social Mesh. Social Meet, a number of different tools. Basically what this is allowing is for the aggregate posting. So you're reducing the amount of time and resources dedicated to posting. You can create a post and change it for each different profile that you're posting to. Again, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, Google Business, Pinterest, and click those boxes to be able to post across all 5. Cision, again, PR distribution tool. You pull a media list, whether you're a liquid handling equipment processor or a dentist office. There's trade journals, there's industry-specific media, there's local media. You can create that list and distribute and get follow-up information to be able to ensure that you're increasing your earned media opportunities, your press release, backlinks, and also we've been able to get on gift guides, podcast interviews, et cetera, from our Cision outreach. And again, I understand small business owners, I understand time is at a premium. These are aggregate tools to reduce the amount of time. It's still going to take time. So, you have to choose if you're going to do that, you're going to have an intern learn it or do it, or you're going to bring in an outside vendor. Again, SEMrush, one of the top SEO tools for making sure that your website is structured accordingly and determining if organic traffic is overtaking paid or referral or backlink traffic, as well as counting those backlinks, citations, and domain linkages. And then eNotice, again, we talked about this is the least expensive marketing activity. If you're creating content and putting it on a blog, why wouldn't you distribute it to your customer database? Stay in front of them. It's a touch point, and you never want to lose a customer because, well, it's been 6 months since I've heard from you, and now I'm done. I don't want to talk to you now for when I have an actual problem that I need you for. Staying in front of them with a e-notice or electronic mail is a great way to do that, and one of the nice entry points for getting marketing moving. And again, that can be done weekly, monthly, or quarterly. Constant Contact, MailChimp. We have a proprietary tool, so you don't have to carry any of those tools' branding when you're sending out your message. And all of them come with read response data, click-through traffic, and that's a great way to determine your editorial and what you're writing about and where you're getting the most engagement from. Okay, WordPress, again, another benefit of WordPress is they have a WYSIWYG editor, which is what you see is what you get. And if you can identify here, this is an actual web page that we took for a local HVAC firm. And this, if you can edit a Word document, you can edit a page in WordPress. It's really easy. Getting the structure, getting the pages right. Again, how much time do you want to invest? There's forums, there's videos, there's all types of things that you can self-teach yourself. If you don't want to be an expert, find a vendor, find a freelancer. This is a little bit about the switch from Universal Analytics to GA4. They went from sessions to events. And again, those events are what we're calling conversion actions, and you're able to track all those: form download, file download, contact form, schedule, call, Anytime something clicks and you go to a new page, you can track that. As you close out a purchase, you can create a thank you page that tracks that. So any of those actions can be tracked on your website, and that's a great icing to the cake of your web activities and your marketing activities in particular. Getting into the automated insights and data collection, again, they're changing the whole structure. AI is becoming a buzzword today, and I hesitate to bring it up because I'm not an expert, but anytime you're dealing with big data, AI is going to be replacing humans and monitoring that big data. But the reporting and analysis basics gives us as small business owners actionable insight into our marketing investment and lets us know what's working. And if you can find anything else that does that besides technology, let me know. But you want to be able to spend money annually, your marketing spend, and you want it to be implemented efficiently. And this is the path that we've selected that allows us to do that. Again, social media on Hootsuite, you want to post consistently, content of value. This allows for peak time posting. You want to be going live as much as possible with the vertical content, as we talked about, and make sure you're solving problems and not just shouting in the corner. You're actually engaging versus just advocating. We talked again about Cision. I think I went through all these slides on the outline, so I jumped the gun a little bit. But again, what does Cision do for me as a small business owner? Cision allows a 15-minute press release to become months of coverage. So it's an amplifier. All of these tools we're recommending are amplification tools, and you're not going to research 35 local news sources, or maybe you are. Again, it's time versus resources, but we can pull that list in Cision and have it distributed by the time you found 5. So it really streamlines that activity, and again, gives you the contact information of those people. So at the very least, you can do an email follow-up, or you can do a phone follow-up, depending upon how pressing and how large scale the communication is. Here's some screenshots from SEMrush. I mentioned Ahrefs, Moz, and Screaming Frog. They're all competitors, provide similar information. But as you can see, for tree care, it tells you the position you're in versus the position you were the month prior or the reporting period prior. It tells you the volume of those search terms and percentage of traffic. So you can see over time, your client, what this might look like in a transition is a whole page of terms that have no relevance to the business. And then as we change the meta tags, we start producing content, you're posting on social, we're doing paid ads, you start to see the terms that are relevant for your business creeping up to the top page and where they're ranking. And then that backlink analysis, that one's going down, unfortunately. Maybe it peaks back up. My screen is blocked, but there are fluctuations, and that's months, April, May, June, 2-month periods. So you'll see increases and decreases. So if you were on a gift guide every year for 5 years and that gift guide shuts down shop, you just lost 5 backlinks. So this is a continuous effort that you need to be able to continue climbing the backlink radar against your competitors. Providing the domain authority is something that is going to prioritize which backlinks you want. A Chamber of Commerce link is going to be much higher than a small business website. A national social media or international social media is going to be higher than that, and the same can be said for media sources. Again, e-notice, less expensive than other marketing activities. You're already creating content, and you're receiving editorial feedback. So if my HVAC article on clean air outperforms my refrigeration finance article, I should create more on clean air. It really helps make those decisions using a data point versus a gut feeling. Time. I know time and resources, I said I would use it a lot. I've probably worn out the phrase, but how do we as small business owners manage all of these activities while we're running an office, while we're handling customer service, while we're changing end caps, while we're pushing promotions? You got to block time. You got to understand what you're doing today and hold that in priority. I'm as guilty as the squirrel down the road is seeing something shiny and moving and pulling my focus away from it on the desk. But focusing on these tasks and understanding this is what we're doing in week 1 or month 1. And these are a bunch of different opportunities. Again, organic social posting, press release distribution, direct mail campaign, paid social, paid programmatic. You map these out, and now you've got a campaign instead of a home run. And instead of that three-point shot from half court, you're actually dribbling the ball and passing it to your teammates and winning the game. I like to close with statistics just because you've heard it from me, but who cares, right? This is CrowdSpring and GitNux. These are small business marketing statistics. 71% of small businesses survived through digitization. I'll be the first one to tell you, prior to COVID, we were telling people retail foot traffic was going to dry up, and then it did, and it was bad. And we grew 25% and 35% through those years because business owners had no options. They had no foot traffic. They had no networking events. They didn't know how to get their information out there. And you see here, 3 out of 4 business owners did the same thing and digitized their business. We talked about email marketing and, again, just under social media. I think social media, everybody mentioned in some capacity when I talked about how to grow your business. Social media is not a cure-all. It's definitely not the silver bullet that we referenced earlier. If you're not consistent, if you're not tracking, you're just shouting into the wind. And there are specific tactics for social media, including consistent messaging, including group engagement, including tracking referral backlinks to your website. All of those things need to happen. It's not just going to go viral from a post. That's a very common assumption. We attend venture capital presentations. We attend university presentations for entrepreneurs and startups. Everybody says, I'll post on social. That's my path to success. And I'm cringing in the background, like, that's not a path to success. It's a path to no traffic. And without the supporting mechanisms and the increased impressions that come from it, it's not going to happen. Again, so mobile responsive versus desktop. 3 out of 4 people visit a website after searching on a smartphone for it. So this, I saw this, and I think Bing and Baidu have improved substantially. This is mobile search traffic at 70% of Google, and then 13 and 12 with Bing and Baidu. So 91% of small businesses refer or word of mouth, which is great, but 80% of small businesses don't use content marketing. So you're automatically up if you start to incorporate some of these things, and you could potentially grow. What we say is you don't replace your networking, you don't replace your business card and brochure. You build a digital profile online just like you built a traditional business, and you measure. And you understand where the dollars are going and what's generating a return so that next year you can spend more wisely. So I talked about digital funnel and ad sequencing. This is when we start to talk about a robust communication, a robust and mature marketing organization. This is what we're talking about. All these different awareness pieces, online ads, newsjacking the trends, that would be similar to jumping into the Super Bowl or the World Series and targeting news, nightly news articles and incorporating your recommendations and why you think this and why you think that. Storytelling posts, not just pictures of the office dog or somebody's birthday, but how this impacted me, how I think it can benefit you. And then short videos, again, more and more content is being consumed by video, and it's a great differentiator. Again, if 80% of your business competitors aren't using content and you start jumping to the advanced line with video, it's a whole different ballgame. Okay, so they're aware of your business, right? 90% of first-time visitors to your website aren't going to convert. They're going to show up and they're going to maybe navigate to a page or two. You're going to have that information, but then they're going to leave without taking action. If you don't do something to get them back, more content, more video, remarketing and retargeting, then you're going to lose them. So keeping them there, again, having your website optimized for the keywords that are driving revenue, creating content regularly, sharing customer success stories, testimonials, and referrals. And then, again, we got them back. How do we make sure they leave again, right? Contact form, pop-ups, etc. So now they're a customer. How do you get them to come back? How do you get them to tell their friends? This is all messaging that you can use to curate that relationship and get them to be advocates, get them to create user-generated content. How powerful is it if somebody gives a testimonial to your business unsolicited from their profile? It's unmatched. You literally can't buy better marketing than that. But how do you get there? How do you educate them? How do you let them know on the back end? How do you request those referrals? How do you request those rankings? It's all a process, and it's all a process that can be executed inexpensively as part of a framework on a regular frequency basis.